What's up, guys, and welcome back to Siege Study. So Ubisoft just dropped a nice little teaser for us. They're treating us a lot like a girlfriend who's inviting you over, letting you know that things are about to happen, but instead of things happening, she's teasing you and telling you it's going to come later. So right now, we're going to pick apart what we can on this small teaser that we received. And if you'd like to see it in its full entirety, the link is down below, and I suggest you check it out before checking out the breakdown, but you do what you want. So first up, we have a color palette change on the Ubisoft logo. It's a nice red with a rating pending. Spoiler alert, it's going to be rated M because it's going to do with some sort of outbreak. In the first shot of the actual teaser, we get to see the space pod streak across the sky before it crashes into the ground. And then we flip to a scene where a sheriff or a police officer of some kind has come to check on Boyd. Boyd apparently hasn't gotten the paper for a few days from Jenny, and that's worried her. So, enter our cop friend. Boyd is obviously some sort of scrapyard collector. He's got some license plates there and a big barn, so that's about what we can go on now. You do hear his dog in the background, so that's letting you know that it hasn't broken out yet. So while Boyd may have found it, could very well be our cop friend here that unleashes the virus, or, well, really sounds like a creature really, but we'll get into that later. Here we have a quick shot that if you're not paying attention you'll miss. It's just showing that Boyd's a bit of a little conspiracy theorist, or obviously a believer in aliens, so it would make sense for him to drive out in the middle of the desert to go pick up something that just shot out from the sky. And then we finally get a nice shot of our actual space capsule here. As you can see, it's already been smacked up on. Looks like whatever's in there has been trying to get out. It's got some damage on one of the windows. The capsule actually does shake on the bed of the truck, and you see the strap lift up a little bit, so whatever's in there is either pretty big or there's a lot of them in there. It's just weird that it's a space capsule though, so I'm not really sure what the backstory is going to be. I guess somebody saw the ending of the movie Life and was like, man, I want to use that ending. But instead of the ending, it's now at the beginning, so it's different. And it's like crazy zombie people. Maybe it's, the USSR created some sort of biological weapon, and then it turned, or maybe it was an accident, turned these people feral or whatever, and then they just sent them off into space. I'm not really sure, but obviously something is in there. Now, the important thing to note here is that the writing on the space pod, the CCCP USSR, that stands for Soviet Union, which the Soviet Union was disbanded back in 1991. So obviously we're not going back in time with Rainbow Six. So is this maybe a weapon that was formulated during the Soviet Union's run, and then it was, once the Soviet Union shut down, they were like, let's get rid of this, and then they sent it off into space, and then it came back? We'll see. You might also notice that one of the straps is undone, so that probably means our boy Boyd was just checking things out, unstrapping his find, and then whatever was in there woke up, started busting the window, and Boyd got the crap out of there like any smart person would. However, Boyd left his dog behind, so that's not cool, Boyd. And he didn't even bother to tell anybody. Like, yo, don't just leave this sitting at your house. Like, if you want to get out of there, that's totally fine. But you gotta warn somebody, Boyd. Last shot of the teaser, we get a nice logo for the Outbreak, which we've seen before, but it's a nice clean shot. Here it just gives us the date. The co-op event will be during March 6th through April 3rd. Obviously, if this is something that, does well, I'm sure they'll bring it back or pursue something like this again in the future. So obviously, if you think it's something awesome, then you need to speak your voice and let Ubisoft know, so that way, we can get more. And then here's the nice little tease there. You'll get the full reveal at the 6th Invitational if you decide to click in and watch that so you'll know first before anybody else. Or you can just come back to this channel, because as soon as it drops, we'll be talking about it. Now there is a little keynote here that's tagged at the end of the video. They're just talking about exclusive collections, skins, uniforms, and headgear that are only available during Outbreak, which is again during March 6th through April 3rd. So be sure to check out that gear. We'll have it on here as well. So the blog post actually gives us a little bit of information and a little bit of background. So the space capsule fell in near Truth or Consequences in New Mexico. It turned out to be carrying an exotic parasite called the Apex. So kind of a lot like the ending of life. So I don't like that. Yeah. So it's carrying this parasite, and it's turned the town's populace into monsters. So now we're playing Resident Evil 4. The quarantine zone is only keeping, it's the only thing that's keeping them contained. So we got to go in there and we have to take care of this outbreak. Except for, it's going to kind of be like a horde mode. We have the gameplay overview. It's pretty much, you're going to be defending the hostage, really, is what it kind of sounds like. You have a moment to set up your fortifications, and then these monsters who only melee, they only physically attack you, they're gonna come after you. There are 5 different types of enemies, and each of them are gonna have their own distinct abilities. So that could be kind of cool, sort of like a Left 4 Dead thing. All these zombies are coming after you, and you get in a corner. I have 2 difficulty levels in Outbreak. The first one's going to be normal. It's going to be a challenge to everybody, but it's still pretty safe. In the second difficulty level, Pandemic, friendly fire is on, and enemies can take you down in a couple of hits. So it's a lot more realistic. So that sounds pretty cool. With this new event, there are going to be 3 exclusive co-op levels playable in Outbreak. They're bigger and more open than the PvP maps, so that's pretty nice. There are actually sections entirely outdoors, so that's really cool. They're also more linear with a clear sense of progression. So, but don't worry, there's still going to be destruction and multipath approach that Rainbow Six Siege is known for. Only certain operators will be available to use while playing the Outbreak event, which is understandable because some of the players on Siege's roster wouldn't necessarily be effective during this sort of situation. So it's kind of neat, it makes more sense to me. It kind of adds to the having this large squad of the best, but only able to send certain ones to handle certain situations. So I'm okay with that. Here's a full list if you're interested. There's also a note about the Outbreak collection during the 4-week event. There's going to be 50 cosmetic items ranging from rare to legendary. You can purchase them. There are packs that you can purchase called Outbreak packs that focus specifically on that collection. However, whenever you jump into Outbreak for the first time, you're going to receive 4 of those packs right out the gate. So that's pretty cool. As always, if you would, please like and subscribe. Let me know your comments below if you have any questions or what you think about the event and if you're excited. Thanks for watching.